I'm Albert Culbreath, a professor of plant pathology with the University of Georgia here at the Tifton campus. Working on several primarily related to the management of tomato spotted wilt virus in peanut and also leaf spot diseases in peanut. Two leaf spot diseases, early and late leaf spot, caused by fungi. And if at all possible, how can we manage both the leaf spot diseases and tomato spotted wilt? Well, tomato spotted wilt has flared up quite severe in some cases, so that's been a challenge for some growers, especially with the varieties that we have now that have typically excellent resistance to tomato spotted wilt, but we've still had some problem fields pop up from that. So we're trying to get to the bottom of what's going on there. Beyond that, then trying to look at what things can we combine with the resistance to make sure that spotted wilt stays a minor issue for us in as many fields as possible. Of course, that virus is spread by thrips, so we're looking at insecticides that would actually manage the thrips themselves, but maybe give us some more suppression of that. So far, we've just got the one insecticide that does that, the dimet or forate. So we're looking at that combined with the new varieties that have come out and are coming out to see what sort of response we get that, if it's needed at all in the new varieties with better resistance. And I think we do have new lines coming out, both from University of Georgia and USDA programs here in Tifton that have an improved resistance compared to the Georgia 06G. Of course, Georgia 06G much better than what we had previously with Georgia Green. So with that, I think that the integrated programs. I have a graduate student looking at comparing 06G with Georgia 12Y across a range of planting dates, and we saw a strong planting date effect primarily on Georgia 06G. It looked like Georgia 12Y has enough resistance that the planting date didn't matter as much with that one. The planting dates that minimize tomato spotted wilt, though, actually seem to be the planting dates that maximize the potential for leaf spot to develop. So if you can plant early and tolerate and have resistance that can overcome the spotted wilt, you should be able to dodge some of the leaf spots. So he's looking at things from an organic standpoint, but from a conventional standpoint, that same thing comes into play, that we might be able to minimize our fungicide inputs with an early planting that can dodge some of the leaf spot epidemics. Beyond that, we're looking at a lot of fungicides, several new experimental fungicides, looking at a couple that are just labeled this year. Show promise both for helping with leaf spot management as well as the white mold management. And both those diseases have had an excellent year for development so far. White mold has been really heavy. Leaf spot is really coming on now, so I think this latter part of the season, leaf spot is going to be a huge issue as well. So making sure that we have good timely application of effective fungicides is one of the things we're spending a lot of time on. The one thing we're talking about here is our work with the geneticists and breeders trying to develop molecular markers that will help with selection for lines with resistance to tomato spotted wilt and leaf spot diseases. We have the small plots here. We're doing the phenotyping for that with several different mapping populations, and to see if we may be dealing with different genes in different populations that we might be able to put together and improve our resistance to both those diseases even farther. That's some of the things we're working on this year. Have two master students, one working on the leaf spot and spotted wilt management, geared largely toward organic production, and another looking at the phenotyping the various populations and also using different methods to evaluate disease. So she's using a drone, taking imagery video imagery, both infrared as well as visual, visible light video, to see if we can relate anything from those to disease severity. It looks like from a spotted wilt standpoint we can, and from the preliminary data we got last year, it looks like we can do the same for leaf spot. So it'll be fun to see what comes of that. That should standardize things greatly with our evaluation processes.